Hello everyone, welcome to Git commands tutorial part 6. In this tutorial we'll talk about concept of rebase, and then we will compare it with merge, and at the end we'll go through the commands and we'll show it in action. But first let's look at what is rebase. Basically, when you want to have the changes from other branches or combine two branches, you'll use rebase. It's the same as what you have seen for merge. At the end result is the same reason that we use it, but very different concept. So rebase, if I want to add some definition, it says is the process of moving or combining a sequence of commits to a new base commits. For example, you have these feature commits that you started, and then once you rebase, it will find the last commit of the main, and then it adds to the very last commit. So it just basically moves. For example, if you started from here when you wanted to do the feature, but when you wanted to rebase, somebody else did some changes on the main, then it will come and move these commits to the end of the commits and then add the new commits for each one. So basically it changes the history of the Git. So now let's talk about what is the difference between merge versus rebase. As you can see, for merge, when you have a feature branch like this, and the green one is a feature branch, and this one is the branch that you want to merge to. So for example, you start here, you created a new branch from here, and you started your feature, and at the end you wanted to merge, right? But somebody else merged some stuff into the main, and once you want to merge your stuff, Git will add a new commit and call it merge and add it here, and it keeps the history of what you committed before. But, oh, I have to go one back. Too early to go to the next. But about rebase, that is different. So when you start here and you do some of the commits, but when you want to merge, it will move all of your commits to the end of the main, and it basically flattened the main that we had. So, and it adds a new commit. So it's no longer the commits that you made here. So that's how merge is different from rebase. It has its pros and cons. You can go and read documentation. I add a link for what is the pros and cons of this, and you can go through it. But some people use rebase, prefer rebase. Some people prefer merge. You can use either of them. We'll talk about the commands, so you can go through and choose whichever you like. Okay, the first command that we will learn here is git rebase. So imagine that we have a main branch, like the one that we have here, and we have some feature branch that we called in this tutorial develop. If I do git branch, you'll see that I have another branch called develop. And I can switch to that develop branch, and I want to get the latest of what is in the main branch inside of the develop branch. So I first go to that branch. We learned how to switch to that branch. Git checkout develop. So now I'm on that branch. Now I want to get all of the changes in the main branch. So I do git rebase main. This is the command for rebase. It's a very simple command. You do git rebase and you will get the branch that you want to merge into your branch. So git rebase and rebase. And that's it successfully. See, it says successfully rebased and updated. And now you can just do git push. And you can see it pushed to your branch. That's all for git rebase. One ability that git rebase will give it to you is that you can squash some commits together and make it just one commit. So basically you modify the history of the Git. So for example, you have 3 commits and you want to squash all of them together as one commit, maybe with a different commit message. So how do we do that? Currently I have some small changes on my file, so I will just add these changes, git add, and then with git commit dash m, I'll give it a commit message. I can just say add part 6 git tutorial to the readme file, and then I git push. So as soon as I push, let me clear the screen. As soon as I push, if I go to my repository and refresh it, and I see that there are 14 commits here, the last commit should be the one that I just made, add part 6 tutorial. Now I will add one more changes to this. This is for git rebase. I would say squash. We'll go through the squash. I have this squash command, and then I have this change, right? So I'll add this change as well. Git add, same thing that we used a little bit ago. Git add, and then git commit. I can just call this one modify or added modify part 6. This is the commit message that we made, and then we push it again. Git push, and then clear this screen. And then when I go back this time, if I refresh the page, I'll see there are 2 commits. Now I can go ahead and add more commits to it, but most of them are, basically all of them, are just adding the part 6. So once I'm done with part 6, I would have everything in only one commit. How do I do that? So there's a command for it, and it's called git rebase -I, and then head, and then tilde, and the number of commits that you want to squash. For example, right now these are 2 commits, so you can put 2 right here. But if it was 3 commits, you would add 3, but for us it's just 2 commits. When I hit enter, it will show me the 2 commits that I have on my repository. As you can see, these are the 2 commits, and it's basically saying that what do you want to do with these 2? You want to squash and keep which one of them. So I want to keep the first one, and I want to squash this one into it. So how can I do that? As you can see, these are, your arrow key will work here. You cannot type until you click or hit S button. So as soon as I put S, it will start allowing me to edit. Then I can remove this pick, and instead of pick, I put S, and S means squash. So it means that squash this commit into this commit and give me only one commit. What are the rest? The rest of the just a commit. So as you can see, it has hash at the beginning, so it doesn't mean anything. So it will not add anything else. So only these 2 parts are important, that you want to squash all of them. If you had 3 commits, 4 commits, you have to do the same thing for the rest of them. You leave the first one as pick, and the others as S at the beginning. And now I hit escape, and then colon WQ, and hit enter. And now it shows me the commit messages that I made. So as you can see, you can ignore the ones that are started from with hashtag, because these are not part of your commit. These are just the explanation. So it shows me the first commit message, and I want to keep this first commit message, but the other commit message, as you can see, modify part 6, I want to remove this one. So how can I do that? You can basically do the same thing. You can hit S and remove everything. You can delete it by delete button on your keyboard, or you can delete via command V. I don't want to confuse you by commands that we have for Vim, but that's the easiest way that you can remove the other command. And now again, you hit escape button and colon and WQ, and that's how you squash these 2 locally. Now you have to push to the upstream, so you can say git push, and since you rebased it, you have to force push. So you cannot push only git via this command git push. You have to do git -- git push -- force. So this way it will force these two commits together. And now I clear the screen. Sorry, clear the screen. And then when I go to my Git repository, I will see that it squashed two commits into one commit. There's no longer the other commit available. Only it kept the first commit. That's how you can squash multiple commits together and add it in one commit. Another useful command that we can learn here, and it's git amend. So what is it good for? For example, you add some commit, you have some changes. For example, I can just make some changes on this file. It was just some space here. And I can just add these changes and say git add dot, and then git. I can just do git commit -m and give it a commit message and do like the one that we usually do. But instead of git commit -m, I can just amend it or attach it to the previous commit. So this is how you can amend. So you can say git amend, and that's all. So you hit enter, then it will show you your commit message. That's the previous commit message that you want to attach it to. And if you want to change this commit message, you can easily change it by just hitting letter S and start editing it. So you can say add part 6 Git tutorial video. That's how, or you can just not editing it. In order to just edit the command, you can just do git amend. And now in order to get out of the edit mode, just I hit escape button and then colon WQ and hit enter. And now you can do git push, and this time you have to use git push -- force since you're amending to the previous commit. And that's how you will add it to the previous commit. So if you don't want to change the commit message, so you can easily, so right now I just did this, I can say, I'll make some other changes, and this time I will not change the commit message. So I will just say use, oh, you can just add the git commit -- amend yeah, that's the first commit. So this is the change that I made for my file. Now I want to add this change, or basically attach it to the previous commit. So I would just say git commit -- amend, but this time I don't want to edit the commit message, so I would just simply pass another argument and says no edit. And since I don't want to edit the commit message, it already attached it to the previous commit, and I can just push it to the upstream without any modification for the commit.